Hi, this is Kelly Croy. I wanted to create a video to help teachers and administrators better navigate the Ohio Department of Education website. I know you're all very busy in your classroom and outside your classroom with many responsibilities. And I also know that the ODE site can be difficult to navigate because it contains so much information. So what I've done is I've broken down the ODE site into a few areas that I think you'll find helpful. And I also want to point out that some of the information that we can use as educators that is not located in the ODE site can be found in the ODE testing portal. And those are two different sites. And so I'm going to try to highlight the difference between the two. So I keep the ODE website bookmarked in my top of my menu bar. You may not, and you may not even know that the website is education.ohio.gov. But a simple Google search ODE site will find the Ohio Department of Education page, which is education.ohio.gov. And clicking on it, you'll know that you do not need a username or a password to log in. All the information on the site is for teachers, administrators, and parents, and it's available for everybody. The area that I think you'll find most helpful is the teacher resources, and any of these in here are a great place to start. Clicking on Learning in Ohio, which is the first tab, brings us to this graphical icon, which is hyperlinked to different important areas that we can use. And we'll start in the center with Ohio's Learning Standards because that is an area that our audit, our self-audit, came back and said that we could probably do a better job of teaching the Ohio's Learning Standards. And so we'll start there. And going into Ohio's Learning Standards, we'll see that they're broken down into different departments. And ELA is where I would go because I was an English language arts teacher. You might be a mathematics teacher, you go down here or another area. But the ELA link isn't just for ELA teachers. History teachers, science teachers, technology subjects would also find great benefit as well. And let me show you why. The English language arts standards are being updated, as well as all the standards are, and we're moving away from the 2010 standards to the 2017 standards, and these will be these standards for several years. In ELA, there are not a lot of changes, but we are right now currently responsible for both this year and then next year focusing just on the 2017. So clicking on the revised 2017 standards, it opens up a PDF which can be viewed on any device, a phone, a tablet, a Chromebook, anything. And this is a 72-page document, which is pretty big, but it could be a lot bigger. But 72 pages for kindergarten through 12th grade. And you might be thinking right now, I really don't want all those. I just want my subject areas. Well, there are reasons that we want to see kindergarten through 12 because each grade level scaffolds and builds upon the other. And so by understanding what is being taught at one grade level can help us at our grade level. And as we scroll through this 72-page document, there's a lot of introductory information. This is an area that we all need to learn more about and be more intentional about. But let's take a look at some of the way the standards are set up. All right, there's a breakdown of the reading and the writing standards, but they list them like third, fourth, and fifth grade, the standard side by side, so you can see how that particular standard reading level 0.1 builds in each grade level and how it grows. And so you can understand what a third grader was supposed to work on and master in a fourth grade. And that works all the way through the grades. And so as a seventh grade teacher for many years, I could look down to the sixth grade teacher and see how they worked with compare and contrast standard and what the eighth grade level will have to do with that as well. But I also say this is good for history, science, and technology teachers because as we move through the document, towards the end, we see that it talks about literacy in reading and writing throughout the content standards in history, social studies, science, and technical subjects. And there are many standards in the ELA standard page, this PDF, that is beneficial and can help support the teaching of the standards. And the same is true in mathematics and others. And so that is a great place to start. That is actually where we find our standards, and we should refer to when designing our lessons and designing our units and our planning for the year, a 72-page document. But the ODE site is not just a housing of the learning standards. It's also supported by a model curriculum, which is not something that we want to follow verbatim. It's just a guide to help us kind of pace and lay out how we would use the standards in our particular grade level. Let's take a quick look at that. Now, the model curriculum is being updated. It's supposed to be out before the end of February, but we're getting halfway through February now, and it's not out yet. But if I looked at grade 7, it would provide me with a model curriculum of how the standards could be combined, laid out, and used. Some with hyperlinks to particular resources that I could use. And again, this is not something that I'd want to follow exactly, but it's something that give me a guide of how I could build lessons that help teach the standards. We want our lessons to be innovative and engaging, but we also want to cover the standards, and not just cover them, we want to teach them. There are many resources down below. I know that for many years I tried to assemble my own glossary of terms. This is for ELA. The ODE website has a list of all the terms that students need to know, like what an exemplar text is, or what delineate means, etc. And it has the definitions with them. So lots of great resources there as well. And there's some other areas you could dive into. It's just a great area to learn more about and become more intentional with. And that's a great start for teachers in using the Ohio Department of Education website. One final area on the graphic that they created was an assessments. And some of this we'll cover in the next video of looking at the testing portal. But it talks about how reading and writing is scored, which could be important, as well as blueprint models of what standards, what power standards we could create. And power standards aren't just always something that we take from the ODE site. We may also identify power standards based upon how well our students did, or how what areas we cover within our classroom. So there's a lot of ways to determine what standards we particularly want to focus on. Anyways, that is a very quick navigation of the ODE site, and I just kind of wanted to create this video to let everybody know it's not as intimidating as it may sound. I think a few visits in there and everybody would have a great understanding. There's one other area that I wanted to mention that I think is also great, and that's how the focus is on career and college readiness within the standards. And you can find a link within the site that shows how the standards relate to college preparation and careers right out of high school. And so we'll talk about that in a later video. So thanks for watching. I hope this was useful.